And we're back. Toucher and Hardy on the Sport.
We are Toucher and Hardy. Watch us on YouTube. Subscribe to 98.5 The Sports Hub on YouTube if you would. Smash that like button. Smash that subscribe. Yeah, this is where it was going. Yeah. This is you spend a minute getting to this.
To the chugga chugga. Because you couldn't start with the chugga chugga.
No.
You got built to it.
But you have to imagine being in the audience. There's smoke. So this band is called UFO, and you know them because they're Eddie Trunk's favorite band. Who's Eddie Trunk? Well, I'll tell you. Eddie Trunk does 3 to 5 in the afternoon on Sirius XM radio. He plays no music during this, except on very special occasions. Like if Steve Vai's on, he'll play a new Steve Vai song. Maybe not all of it, but at least enough to give you a little taste. Like, I don't know, if he's got someone from Jackal on, for instance, Jesse James Dupree, he'll give you whatever Jesse's serving up at that point in time. You know, he's got a baked beans festival, a country cook-off. Jackal will be headlining. Or Jesse is a solo guy. Don't worry about it. So anyway, Eddie's on 2 hours a day, 5 days a week, talking to you live. He was on the Creed cruise. He was on the whatever other cruise he was on. He did 2 cruises in a row. He's friends with Sammy Hagar. He had Neil Sean on last week from Journey. There was some talks about what's the deal with Journey's singer. Is he in? Is he out? Who knows? But anyway, if you wanted to know what kids that were in shop class for 6 hours a day in high school in 1982 are up to, look no further than Eddie Trunk Show.
Listen no further than the callers to the Eddie Trunk Show.
It's amazing. It's like, you went to North Farmington in 1983 and had a riff shirt on 4 days a week. You smoked beet weed in the parking lot when I was like a little kid and was fascinated with what was going on. So Eddie has thoughts and feelings and emotions like everyone else. And Adam, you have gone through. It's a passion project for you. Throw you in the briar patch. You get to listen to Eddie Trunk.
Absolutely, and we come up with.
Hey, talking about Trunk. What's Eddie Trunk talking about? Oh yeah.
We find clips of Eddie Trunk and we bleep out a whole bunch of stuff to not give it away, and it's up to you to figure out what Eddie Trunk is talking about in this particular instance. Fred, it is a Rock and Roll Hall of Fame related rant, and Eddie attempts to provide a bit of an analogy for you to play around with here.
All right, so everyone knows the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is a joke, except if you get in, and then it's the greatest. Eddie's got a lot of problems with the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Eddie is part of a very put-down minority in the United States, and that's rockers, metalheads. I mean, the government, culture, everyone seems to be, it's like impossible to get a job now. I mean, it's never been harder to be a rock and roll guy than it is right now. And Eddie speaks for that trodden upon minority, and he speaks loudly and proudly 5 days a week during afternoon drive across North America.
Right. Is this a local show? Is this a podcast?
No, it could be in your car, right? In any one of your cars. You pay $2 a month to get Sirius Satellite Radio. You can hear Eddie Trunk. It's Howard Stern, Mad Dog, and Eddie Trunk.
Tell him you're going to drop your subscription once, and he'll go to $2 a month.
If you have the patience to even do it. I am too lazy to even do that. All right, here we go. Here is Eddie Trunk. Who's he talking about?
All these rock.
And by the way, I'm not stopping it necessarily if there's a long pause. Eddie takes dramatic pauses to collect his thoughts because he doesn't want... Listen, he's speaking for a downtrodden minority.
You want the people to get the full flavor of the show.
Yeah. Black people might understand what rockers are going through, but probably not. Gays, nah. Rockers got a little more difficult.
All these rock feeds are reporting now about Blaze being added to the maiden induction.
All right, so I'm sorry to stop it again, but as you all know,
Blaze Bayley
when
is omitted.
When Iron Maiden, when Iron Maiden was nominated to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, these idiot losers at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame put everybody that had ever been an Iron Maiden as part of the nomination, except for, Blaze Bayley, who sang on an album. Okay? So...
How the
So Eddie loses it. I apologize for him. If your kids are in the car, just let him know what he's talking about.
Fronted the
Sometimes revolution needs a voice like this. And so, anyway, a great victory of Eddie's was that the Academy realized that Blaze Bayley had been left off, and they put him on. But it won't silence Eddie just because you kowtowed to one of his demands. He's the Malcolm X of rock.
And it hit me because, and this just screams of the insane inconsistencies and why that part of the Hall of Fame process has to be made uniform. Because think about this one. Did not get inducted with.
All right, so we know a member of a group did not get inducted with them. Okay?
Okay.
And Eddie's pissed. You know it because he stops talking for long periods of time.
And it is the same exact situation.
You thought it couldn't happen
The
twice.
same exact situation. Did 2 studio albums and a couple live albums as the replacement for in neither record overly well received, if we're being honest.
Yeah, but that's the thing about Eddie. Is
much for Phil Collins and Genesis. That was going to be my first guess.
Yeah, I thought it was Sammy Hagar with Van Halen. But the thing is that, look, Eddie's not going to... Look, it wasn't well received by the nerds at the magazines or the stupid fans that consume music.
Right.
It was, but that it shouldn't influence anyone. This band was nominated.
The fact that nobody liked it shouldn't be a check against them and his consideration for induction.
How do you even measure success? Is it album sales or people coming to shows? I mean, that's not fair.
How do you know when you're done making love? These are the unanswerable questions.
I mean, so it's up to the public or critics or a combination of both to decide what's successful and what's not? Okay. Then I guess Y and Z were never good.
Y and T?
Sure.
I was wondering, too.
Yeah.
The
My
one with
bad.
the robot.
Y and T.
My bad.
Summertime Girls. Let's hear
I'm
it.
sorry. It's a Monday. And I'm no Eddie. I mean, this is just exemplifies how I'm no Eddie Trunk.
All right, Garfield, get it together.
Neither record overly well received, if we're being honest.
In fairness, he has a big plate of lasagna in front of him, and it's very hard for me to focus.
Some people like the records, some don't.
Yeah. Idiots.
And in both cases, and if, just like in Maiden's case with Blaze, the records weren't well received, and
Yeah, he's so pissed he can't speak.
for whatever reason, whether it's the records or the replacement singer, the live draw fell off dramatically. And ultimately, the guy everybody wanted came back. In the case of Bruce in 2000 with Maiden.
Yeah, Bruce Dickinson.
Yeah.
But in retrospect, both singers held the fort.
Yeah, it's true.
Kept the band going during a very difficult time.
Yeah.
And can we
During the war.
Can we take a moment to talk about the singers that bravely keep bands going in obscurity so the original singer can come back and make the band popular again? Because the band just disbanded and didn't have anybody in it, and then came back with the original singer and was popular again, they wouldn't have had all that time of failing. And that's important time. Why won't the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame talk about the guys that failed? Please. That's what Hall of Fames are all about. Like, for instance, Mickey Mantle didn't play every day in center field for the Yankees. What about the dickhead that played when he wasn't healthy? Why is he not in the Hall of Fame? I mean, Ozzie Smith didn't play 162 games a year. Where's Jose Oquendo? I ask.
And depending upon where you land on the records, made good, great, okay, bad records, but made 2 records with the band as the singer. And now,
Yeah.
I think he's talking about my guy Zach from Smash Mouth.
if and when Maiden goes in, rightfully, Blaze is now going to be included as of a few days ago.
And he celebrated by lighting a fart.
Who's missing? Went in, was not included. The same exact situation.
That's the word you were looking for.
You
Okay.
didn't stop
One
that.
band,
No?
that singer
Yeah.
was excluded
Yes.
on the sideline.
Yes.
And now for Maiden, that same exact singer with the same body of work is being included. How is that fair?
Nuts.
How does that make sense?
I don't know. Are you going to tell us? It's coming up. Don't worry.
Right there in black and white.
Oh. Is it the band Black and White?
Shows you yet another example of how many things are wrong with the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Even when a band finally goes in, it's messed up. I mean, waited forever. Finally, they get in. They backdoor them, musical achievement, whatever. But then they leave a guy who sang lead vocals on 2 albums out.
Okay. So this is a band that got in recently. It's obviously New Order. Is it someone from the Wu-Tang Clan? Did they not include Inspect the Deck?
No, it is not one of this year's inductees. But it is a recent inductee.
Okay. If Motley Crue was in the Hall of Fame, this would be John Corabi, the singer that filled in for Vince Neil.
Yes.
But I don't know if Motley Crue is in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And that might be too popular a band.
Yes.
So I am thinking of a band that's older than Motley Crue.
Yes.
Okay, I'm thinking a band from the 70s.
Started in the 70s.
Yeah. I'm thinking of a band, perhaps a band by the name of Bad Company.
That is incorrect.
Okay, am I sniffing around the right area?
You have your eras right, but your genre wrong. You want a metal band.
Oh, I was going to
Oh, a metal band. Oh, is it Judas Priest?
It is Judas Priest.
And is it Ripper Owens?
Tim Ripper Owens.
Whoa! Whoa!
You want a little burn in hell from 1997's Jugulator? Because that's what you got for getting that right.
Yeah, the Jugulator. That's what Rocky Swerve's first guy she came up against was.
I'm still laughing. There's not much else.
Why was this not popular?
But one thing's certain. I'm coming back for you.
Okay, great.
It sounds like one of the fake Alice Cooper songs they put in Wayne's World.
All right, so the idea is that Judas Priest were very popular. Then Rob Halford left. Then they toiled in obscurity for a while. And then Rob Halford came back in, and they were able to play arenas again.
What the toil in obscurity? I think they released a couple albums in there, Fred.
Yeah, but people hated them, and they didn't do well. So why isn't Ripper Owens in the Hall? Me thinks Eddie's friends with Ripper Owens.
Who's missing?
But anyway, from 3 to 5 in the afternoon, every Monday through Friday, while you sit in rush hour traffic, there's a guy getting paid to complain about Ripper Owens not being in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And that is just a small section of it. Don't you think there's not numerous shows and hours and hours and hours of content being put on a billion-dollar company's airwaves during afternoon drive on a real station.
And I also always like to ask, just as a reminder, all this talk of music, does he play music?
He does not.
Okay.
Not on this.
Okay.
No.
Interesting.
In fact, he'll have a segment that kills, like he'll do 2 hours on best drum intros to songs.
Yeah.
Right? And someone will call in and they'll go, oh, I don't know, Loudness is Hanoi Hooby Hooby. And then he'll go, yeah, that's awesome. And they'll go, yeah. And then he'll go, great. And then they'll move on. You won't hear the drum intro. But, in your mind's eye, you can kind of figure out how it sounds, And they'll go like best bass intros. And they'll go, oh, Thin Lizzy's, Jailbreak or something. And then you'll go, oh, yeah? And they'll go, yeah. And they won't play it. Because, listen, what do you think? He's got a team of guys? Eddie, he jets between Vegas and New Jersey. He doesn't have a staff with things to do. I mean, he can't just queue up one of the 20 bands people might mention in a computer system with touch screens and a way to search.
How does that make sense?
It doesn't. You don't need to hear the intro to the song. Just
think about this one.
It exists. Thank you, Eddie. And I apologize to Ripper Owens, and I apologize to the world. At least there's someone fighting for us.
It's messed up.
It is. All right. We'll be back in just a moment. Mike Reiss is going to join us, and he was texting us over the weekend. He's been to a bunch of shows himself. We'll be talking to him in just a moment.
Hey, listen, if you've got to go, we understand, but make sure you bring the Sports Hub app with you so you can hear more of Toucher and Hardy.
That's what I want on my tombstone.
On the Sports Hub.
How about we do a little Every Rose Has a Storm? You ready? Everybody, let it loose. Here we go. We walk outside the street in the night.
Although we lie close together, we feel miles apart inside. Was it something I said or something I did? Did the words not come out right? Though I tried not to hurt you, though I tried. Oh, Mike Reiss was there. Did you bring a lighter, Mike Reiss, or did you use your phone light?
That was beautiful right there.
Thank
that
you.
was absolutely beautiful.
Thank you.
We all had our cell phones up, Fred. I'm trying to think, maybe 2,000? 2,000 is about the capacity at the Hampton Beach Casino.
Yeah. A lot of generational wealth in that building. Now, Mike, Eddie Trunk let us know via Instagram that recently the 40th anniversary of Look What the Cat Drag did.
That was on the set list. So I will only 11 songs, Fred. So that would be like the one critique.
Oh.
So it's a tighter set, a little over an hour. Honestly, a great energy. I think he does a great job. Bret Michaels, 63 years old.
And diabetic. So like over an hour, 10 songs. Were there extended jams? How is that possible?
So, yeah, good.
Spoiler, there's a spoiler at the end of it. Go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, definitely. So, one reason it went long was I'm right up on the rail, and four people to my left, there's a guy who has a poster, and he puts it over the rail, and Bret Michaels stops in the middle of Something to Believe In, and he reads the poster, and it says, "Our first date was to a Bret Michaels concert, and I'm wondering if you can call me up on stage so I can propose." And so he literally stops the middle of the song, Fred, and calls the guy up on stage. He jumps over the rail with the help of security, and he takes the microphone and he proposes. And it was like 5 minutes. The show sort of stopped.
What a gift to the crowd. What a gift to you as a paid attendee. That had to be nice.
Love was in the air, Fred. You would have loved it.
Yeah, I would have. I would have loved to have spent money to see a guy play
You would have
music.
loved the drive up to Hampton Beach Casino.
Well, I mean, that too.
And then, ironically, they went into Fallen Angel after that, which is probably not the best song to hear after you propose. But he actually ended the set with a cover, Mike. How did you feel about that?
At that point, I was flying high, Hardy, and he could have ended with anything. It didn't matter. It was a great time. It was Sweet Home Alabama. Called up a couple friends. So what I didn't realize is, I guess Hampton Beach means a lot to him because
it's the only place that he can play.
No, not at all. Oh,
okay.
No,
okay.
Fred. So I guess what happened was when he went solo after the Poison stuff, that was maybe the first place he went. And so he says he likes to come back. And this was sort of the start of his concert season. So
well, he was living under a bridge very close to there for at least 6 months around that time.
Mike, you called it an 11-song set, but it appears you're also counting song 8, which was a drum solo.
Good fact check, Hardy.
Yeah.
Good fact check. You got me. 10 songs.
10 songs. Who was the drummer?
Yeah, I was going to ask the same thing. Who was the drummer you heard do a solo?
Was it Vinny Appice?
No, it was actually her name was Mary. I don't know the last name.
What's
but
the
we
world
could probably
coming to?
search that up.
Well, you don't need a last name. It was just Mary, the drummer for Bret Michaels.
Yeah.
We know her. We know who she is. All right. Okay, Mike. Well, I'm glad you're enjoying yourself. Any other shows recently that you would like to speak of?
Well, I was talking to John because we had Night Ranger a couple weeks ago at Twin River Casino, which I don't know if you guys have been down there.
Of course not,
venue.
Mike. I'm employed.
good venue, really good venue to see a show. You go down, go to
play a penny slots, yeah.
Go
Watch
to
a
the
murder.
Steakhouse. Steve Diassi and Fred Smirlos have a steakhouse down there.
It's still there after all these years, really?
Yeah, why not? It's free rent.
Oh, my God. All right.
Fantastic. And that was great. And I'll tell you what I liked about that, guys, was they sort of let you go up and create like a little mini pit, like right in front of the stage. And Fred, how about this? They played for an hour and 40 minutes. And Jack Blades, I mean, he's 72, 73 years old. So, and that was really high energy and and that was sold out. That was sold out as well.
Well, listen, Bret Michaels is actually in all reality a very nice guy and has been very nice to people I know. So and listen, when I was a little kid, I loved Poison. That album came out when I was 11 years old. Yep. I thought CeCe DeVille was a girl. And if you look at the album cover, you would think the same thing. And here we are. All right, Mike, listen, we're in the very precipice of the preseason, but there is a story in the receiver room that Kayshon Boutte was not participating in the non-mandatory off-season workouts. Anything to see here?
Well, so I think just look at the numbers, Fred. So at receiver, you got Romeo Doubs, who they signed, Mac Hollins, Kyle Williams, Pop Douglas. Let's put A.J. Brown in there, assuming that happens. Efton Chisholm. That's a lot of guys. And so I think it's more. I don't think it's anything like one way or the other. It's just how they all fit. So, and when there are examples of guys that haven't participated or that they come at a different time and they end up being fine. So I think it's just something. Let's just keep an eye on it.
Wait, so you think he's pissed that there's that many receivers?
I don't think that is necessarily maybe what it is. I think
he thinks he's being moved.
A trade. This would be the A.J. Brown trade.
I don't know if maybe it would be tied to it, John. I don't know if that's exactly what it is, but it's one I'm keeping an eye on. I don't have the answer.
No, I know, I know, but you're insinuating something, and just the insinuation is that Boutte would be moved because of A.J. Brown. There would be redundancy, and Boutte's not coming because he knows he's being moved. It would be what the implication.
Yes. I guess I think that would be something that wouldn't surprise me. I don't know if that's what's going to happen.
Right. I understand
don't know if
that.
it should, Fred, I don't know if it should happen. Like, he played really well for him last year. So I don't know. There's another piece there that probably needs to be reported out. Like, how does he feel about? I think he enters the last year of his contract, so I don't know about the contractual. piece in terms of, like how he views that. So just keeping an eye on it.
Well, he's a kid that's progressed every year.
Definitely.
So, yeah. So, like, you wonder, because, like, now it's that, like you said, it's that crowded receiver room. You wonder if he went somewhere where there was more opportunity. You would guess he probably doesn't project as a 1, but, could he be a valuable piece? Like, well, he was last year for a good team. I mean, could he be a valuable piece? John's like, you're acting like he wasn't, but Booty was good last year.
I know.
Yeah.
When you say a 1, I don't think
No.
No.
I didn't. I said he couldn't be a 1.
Right.
I said though that I wonder if he could be a valuable piece.
Yes.
For a team. And look, his numbers weren't like outstanding last year, but he's improved every year. So it's an interesting story because he's not someone you lose and it like doesn't matter. I think Pop Douglas is more of a guy that if you lose, it doesn't matter. I think Booty's a more effective receiver than Pop Douglas.
Well, let's ask Mike real quick about Pop Douglas. Obviously, he was there. Whatever they had 2 years ago, he was the best offensive weapon they had, and he got completely lost last year. Is there a way back for him to be a productive wide receiver, or do you think he's kind of shuffled to the back of the room for good?
I think there's a way back, John. I wouldn't necessarily say that would decisively happen. I think between him and Efton Chisholm, that's probably a good competition. Maybe they both make it. Maybe maybe it's one or the other. And I just I just go back to Keyshawn Booty for a second, guys. Like, there's a part of me that, like, these workouts are voluntary. Most of the guys are there. I think, coaches have to be careful in, there's a reason it's voluntary, right? But when you're not there, like, I do take note of that myself, because I think you're building chemistry with your teammates, right? Like, there's some value to being there. So I think that's the context of, I like to point out it's voluntary. No, a player not being there is not like breaking any rules. It's not necessarily an indication of, I think there were times when Tom Brady didn't show up and, we knew what he did that, the ensuing season. So I don't want to read too much into it, but I also think it's a notable point.
But it's just odd reading your notes column from yesterday when Romeo Doubs was interviewed. He didn't bring Booty up once, and he is significant in that Patriots offense, if nothing else. So he was conspicuous by his absence.
Yep. I think that's a fair takeaway by John. That was a takeaway that I had as well.
Okay, so Mike, we talk about A.J. Brown, and it seems like pretty much a foregone conclusion that he's going to be on this team. Bert was in here on Friday, and he was speculating that maybe fans in New England have a different. I've heard, like, there's a positive and a negative, that there's a different, that he's not a problem in the locker room that, like, people think as much as people think, but also maybe he's not the receiver that people think he is anymore.
So I would say probably depends on who you talk to, Fred. I talked to one scout. I asked him, I said, what do you think? He said, I didn't necessarily study every game last year, but one game I saw, like, he didn't look the same. And then I talked to someone else and they said still one of the best in the league. And you look at the analytics, and he rates among the top 10 in the league. So probably depends on who you talk to. I think for the Patriots and where they're at in their building process here, like, I think the next 2 years you can probably bank on a high level of performance.
Okay, and so do you think he's a top 10 receiver in the league?
I would put him in the top 10. I probably would, Fred. Yeah.
Okay. All
right.
Take that.
Yep.
Well, Patriots get that.
Any surprises, disappointments after the schedule release for you, Mike?
So I think the biggest takeaway, Hardy, was 7 of the first 11 on the road, and 5 primetime games, 4 on the road. So, like, go back to last year, they won every road game. I know it was not the same level of schedule in terms of the opponents. Like, they're going to face harder opponents this year, it looks like. So can they have similar level of success? I'd be surprised if they win every game on the road this year, but they're going to be tested early on the road.
But you also understand the need for that. It's because of the concerts, and you, if anybody, is going to understand that the importance of the concert trumps any football game. So,
well, not Hardy. For me, it's once the training camp starts, the concert's sort of. That's why right now I got to capitalize on this window, and maybe like if you guys want to come to Journey. They're coming around.
I heard Neil Schoen.
You know what? You're so full of it. You went and saw that guy down in Foxwoods on a Saturday night. Spent all day at Gillette Stadium. Who was it? Peter Cetera or something? And then went and saw him again at the Garden on Sunday night.
Yes,
that
good
was
point.
Brian Adams. No,
Brian Adams, right? So don't tell me that your concert going stops when the football season starts.
I didn't say it stops. It only happens if it works out. Like you can't plan.
That didn't work out.
It worked out.
No, you should not have done that.
I couldn't plan on it.
But can I just bring it back to football if you two don't mind? I don't like how this has gone off on a tangent.
Yeah.
I don't
That's
support
not
that.
what this show is about.
No.
Right.
But you did have a quote in your newest piece when the NFL is talking about why the Patriots are opening against the Seahawks. And am I out of my mind, or does that seem not the most like the league is completely bullish on the success of the Patriots this season?
So I think, was it the quote from Hans Schroeder, the vice president? Yeah, he was saying, well, so why'd they pick the Patriots to open against the Seahawks? And I think the quote was like, the Super Bowl rematch will never have more relevance than week one of the next season. So I don't think it's as much as the league being bullish on the Patriots like this season, as much as maybe even the other side, like projecting a potential slide.
No, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying they're not bullish. Is that I read it as I didn't want to be overly negative in my question. So I was trying to. Yeah. It sounds like they were saying the Patriots aren't going to be very good. This is best served, or there's a chance the Patriots might not be very good. This game is best served early.
Yep. And I do think that was part of their mindset, but not necessarily that they thought they won't be very good, but just that if you wait till, call it week 8, and it's a 500 team, you sort of lose the residual interest of the Super Bowl rematch. So I think they wanted it sometime within the first month or so. I do think that was part of their mindset in making the schedule.
So they would think they would be mediocre. Okay, I get it. Okay, so they could be 500. So the point remains that the league it either thinks Seattle or New England could be at least mediocre come mid-season, come earlier, a little later in the season. Best get this game out early while it's hot is basically what he's saying.
I think that's part of it, but I think also look at the fact that they gave them primetime games, Fred, like, that Germany game. Well, Germany's not primetime, but the standalone game in Germany, and then coming off the bye, primetime Chargers.
Oh, they were in the Super Bowl. Yeah, they're getting a lot of. I just was that you included the quote in your piece.
Yeah.
That's how I read the quote. I thought it was an interesting quote. I see why you put it in. It's the only thing I'm asking you. Of course, the Patriots were in the Super Bowl. They deserve primetime games. Don't turn this into me killing the team. I think you included that quote because it sounds a little bit like, okay, they wanted to get this game over early while the getting's good. And I think that is the way you interpreted it as well. Thank you,
That's
Mike.
fair. Yes.
All of our women, all of our veterans that give us the freedom to be here tonight.
That's shocking. He gave a shout out to the veterans, did he? Did he play the national anthem?
No, he's going to play the harmonica to play us out of the segment.
No. All right, Mike Reiss, read him and ESPN. There's still plenty of things going on with your Patriots. Thank you, Michael.
Appreciate you guys.
All right, keep
Mike.
those texts coming from the shows. We love them. All right, there you go. We will be back in just a moment. Here are the headlines.
Touch your stuff.
Kaboom! Did we all just take acid? That's unbelievable.
Toucher and Hart. What's he talking about?
Like you, Fred. I'm not worried.
The Sports Hub.
I get to go to Groton again tonight. Or this afternoon.
When's first pitch?
4:30.
Ooh.
So does that mean you beat the traffic up there or not?
No, because the last time I went up there, and it took an hour and 40 minutes. It was before 3:00 in the afternoon that I got onto 95, and it diverted me away from
the accident,
the Route 9 thing.
Yeah.
And Hardy saw that accident. He actually saw it happen. And there was an accident like right by. I would imagine the Pike or a little north of the Pike or before Waltham, and between Newton and Waltham, somewhere around there was an accident that messed things up pretty good. And it was just everything, because when they divert you, everyone else is using the map things as well. Like, everyone is. And also, it doesn't take a scientist to go, maybe I shouldn't get on the freeway when there's a line of cars looking to get on the freeway.
Yeah, but at that point, you're kind of pot committed. I mean, what else are you going to do?
It diverted me out through neighborhoods up an exit, so I wasn't in the accident traffic for very long.
Oh, all right.
I don't know. I did what the thing said to do. I won't use Waze because Waze goes crazy. Again, I was coming back from Storyland one time, or maybe it was
Santa's Village.
No, I never went to Santa's Village, but we did go.
Good nice. For you.
Santa's Village is nice.
It's further away than Storyland.
Well, we went up to North Conway because it was an affiliate. No, we went up to North Conway before it was an affiliate, which was big money and worth every bit of aggravation. So I went up to North Conway because we did the train, the Santa train, the Polar Express. They had a better Polar Express. Newport had a Polar Express, but they barely tried. In this one, they took you to what was conceivably the North Pole. And there was all action there. So you drove up for that. But I was driving home on a Sunday. I've told this story before, and it had me going through residential neighborhoods in New Hampshire, through just suburbs and subdivisions. I was driving around kids playing baseball in the street, and this is when the Patriots were really good and the Rams were really bad, and they played Bill Belichick's press conference. Oh, in its totality.
He talked about the punter, Johnny Hecker.
And he talked about Johnny Hecker, and it was the only station I could get. And I went, why do we play this? I'm like, this couldn't be more boring. This is worse than silence. So I turned it off. But he was just talking and babbling in that monotone, boring way of his about the punter. You knew there had to be some karma for doing that kind of stuff. Just being that just outwardly dismissive of everything to the point where you were just going to mumble for as long as possible about something no one cared about, as if you had some keen insight into the punter that no one else realized. I don't think that's true. I read a big thing in Sports Illustrated, an airplane once, about Johnny Hecker and how valuable he was. And I got it all out of Sports Illustrated in 3 pages because it was a long flight. And this was before the internet was on planes. So you
didn't need 15 minutes of Belichick talking about it.
No,
on top of that, you would reach your Johnny Hector saturation point.
Yeah, and if someone from Sports Illustrated decided to write an article about it, they thought it was curious enough. It could be described in a way that wasn't Belichick meandering. So my point was, he wasn't being overly clever like he thought he was, because there had already been a piece in a major magazine about it.
That brings to mind just something quickly here that John and I were talking about before you decided to saunter in this morning, Fred.
I apologize.
As he was at the PGA Championship on Friday, and he said something about the fans that were there. And a friend of mine texted this during the final round yesterday. He said, "This is a really enjoyable final round, except for the fans." And I said, I hate to state the obvious, but it's kind of ruining it for me. And the guys who still insist on yelling after the shots, forget about the fact that it's not funny. You didn't come up with it. You weren't the first one to say it's in the hole. You weren't the first one to say, "Give me back my son," which has nothing to do with anything when they're shouting Mel Gibson lines. And if there was one guy who was funny doing it, one time, and that was the guy, I think it was at the British, and it was some player who hit a ball, and the guy yelled, "I've abandoned my child." which had nothing to do with anything, but he sounded like Daniel Day-Lewis in There Will Be Blood. That one I laughed at. Everyone since then, I haven't laughed, and you all suck. And I blame the Philadelphia fans, who might be the worst people on earth.
They're up there.
I thought you said we were going to say John's glasses were creating a glare on the camera as he mulled about that one hole.
But these guys, like these people yelling during the golf tournament, you presumably like golf, so you're not there just to heckle golfers.
Yeah, but then you get to text your friends and you go, "Did you hear me?"
Yeah.
And then you're like a star. You're like a big star.
The worst.
All right, so we'll be back. Jaylen Brown is out speaking again, so of course we'll cover it and people will get mad. So we'll do that in just a moment.